The same routine continues. Take a beautiful female lead video game character, make her uglier, then turn her into a lesbian. Why this is a thing, I don't know, but we've just seen it happen with Aloy in the Horizon series, and according to the leaks, this is also happening with Lara Croft as well with Tomb Raider. But let's go ahead and just dive into this with Aloy, because the DLC dropped for Horizon Forbidden West, and now she's attracted to women. Okay, all of a sudden, because that's just the new thing to do. Straight female lead characters can't exist in action genres anymore. It's just where we're at right now. So this comes to us from Bounding Into Comics, and they said a new Burning Shores DLC for Horizon Forbidden West confirms Aloy is attracted to women. As has become almost laughably predictable with Sony games in recent years, a new DLC story for Horizon Forbidden West has confirmed that series protagonist Aloy is sexually attracted to the fairer sex. Dude, does Sony have any straight female leads anymore? That are like, yeah, dude, I don't even know. Released by developer Guerrilla Games on April 19th, the Burning Shores expansion picks up an unspecified amount of time after the conclusion of the main Horizon Forbidden West campaign, and finds Aloy tasked with making her way to the eponymous Burning Shores, the current name for the city of ruins that was once known as Los Angeles, of course. Dude, she just goes to a rundown Hollywood and already drinks the Kool-Aid to hunt down the final member of the game's antagonistic group of thinly veiled analogs to real-world CEOs, the Far Zenith. I don't know if they're even going to mention, but like in the original like Horizon Zero Dawn, there was like a male kind of flirtation thing going on there with a dude. Now it didn't full-fledged turn into anything, but there was something, like, at least from his side. The way, now I'll admit, when I played it, the way I took it was she kind of friend-zoned him a little bit, but I don't know, I felt a little like flirtatious tension between the characters, at least. So let's see. Successfully making her way to the coast, Aloy is contacted by Seika, a resident of the Burning Shores whose immediate community was accidentally stranded from the rest of their tribe due to a navigation accident, striking the deal that will see Aloy help Seika take down a Zenith defense tower in exchange for the latter's help in navigating the region. The two young women quickly set out to help each other help themselves. Now, one thing is, I actually was a huge fan of Horizon Zero Dawn. It is one of my favorite games ever. I freaking loved it. And I haven't even played Forbidden West yet. Now, the reason why is because I was severely disappointed in a lot of what they've done with Aloy's character. This is long before they even did this. But it just seemed like they gave Aloy that hero complex. This is something they keep doing with female leads. They've done the same with Lara Croft. And that's why I haven't even played Forbidden West yet. I didn't even buy it, but I installed it on PSN because it was on the PSN library, PSN Plus library for free. So I was like, okay, I'll play it. I know I'm going to be disappointed in some things, but I'll probably still play it just because I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. But I mean, one of the big reasons why I loved it so much is you had like this cool, strong, beautiful female lead character there, and y'all know I love games with a good female lead that does it right. And I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn for the most part did that, but then once the Horizon Forbidden West trailers started dropping and stuff, I noticed they were giving her a hero complex to where it was like, oh, she wants to be like a savior of the world, essentially. She wants to be a hero. And I don't like it when they do that, especially with female characters, because it's not it's not something that is natural for women in the same way that it is more for that it can be for men. You know, it's a masculine thing to help to like save people, dude, like to be a hero. That's a masculine thing. So for a female lead character, I mean, there are certain situations where it's like, okay, you know, she's strong, she's capable, and she's gonna do what's right for this situation. I get that. But for just wanting to be a hero for the sake of being a hero, that's not a feminine quality. It's not a feminine trait. And it just comes off as weird to me. And they did the same thing with Lara Croft, who was an anti-hero before and who just had her own selfish ambitions and did what she was doing for her own selfish desires. And I loved that. I thought it was fun. It's a video game. It's fun. Or, you know, when you have a character who has some sort of, okay, they're doing this because there's some sort of motivation behind it that, you know, maybe this specific situation is the right thing to do, or maybe, you know, doing it because, okay, she's specifically involved in this because of her family, her tribe, this, that, or the other, whatever it is. But whenever it's just like, I want to be a hero, I found my purpose, and that's to be a hero, that's boring to me. You know, even for a lot of dude characters, it's nice to see some sort of motivation beyond that. So that's one reason why I didn't. But anyway, let's just all the woke stuff and the way they made her uglier, all that kind of stuff. And I'll go more into this, and I'm going to go into my biggest complaint further on after I get this out of the way. So, all right, so they're going to help each other. However, the pair soon discovers that Seika's local community has been taken captive by Londra, the very same Zenith member Aloy was sent to track down in the first place. Faced with Londra's horrific plan to brainwash and enslave Seika's people in order to have his own personal cult of worshippers, Aloy sets out to infiltrate his base of operations and put an end to his delusions of grandeur. Okay. Eventually, Aloy is successful in taking down Londra, in turn allowing for the remaining members of Seika's camp to finally leave the Burning Shores and reunite with their larger tribe. In turn, the entire DLC campaign comes to a close with one last conversation between Aloy and Seika. Therein, Aloy discovers that Seika has chosen to delay her reunion with her peoples for just a little while longer due to her own feelings of ostracization, prompting the heroine to offer her new friend some advice regarding the concept of home. Okay? For a long time, I hate this idea of home, says the bow-wielding warrior. For me, it meant where I grew up, where I wasn't wanted. Turning to look at Seika, Aloy continues, but the thing is, the last few months I've realized that home isn't really a place at all. It's more like people I want to be with. I like that, replies Seika, who then musters up the courage to admit to Aloy, and, well, more and more I've been thinking I want to be with you, and I was hoping you felt the same way. Should the player choose to accept feelings of Aloy's first possible love interest throughout the entire series, the redhead will reply, so what if I do? Drawing a response of, I think I know how to handle it, from Seika, who then moves in to plant a kiss on her new boo. However, since both the playing of the Burning Shores DLC and the acceptance of Seika's feelings are both optional, though it should be noted that Seika is Aloy's first possible love interest throughout the entire series, the moment ultimately ends with the two parting ways and agreeing to keep each other in their hearts. I don't know when I'm going to see you again, laments Aloy. Me neither, admits Seika, but no matter what happens, just don't forget about me, okay? Never, promises Aloy in return. This is just stupid to me. I wouldn't even have liked it if they gave her a male love interest in these things too, because it's just like, it depends on the character, and there's certain stories that they're built around having the love interest there, and that can be great. But when it comes to Tomb Raider, for example, I don't want to see a love interest. That is about Lara Croft doing her adventuring and all that kind of stuff. And with Horizon, I kind of feel a similar kind of way, to where it's like, I like the focus to be on adventure, okay, in this kind of story. And especially given that this is a DLC thing, this just feels rushed. This just feels like pandering. and it just doesn't feel authentic, organic, anything like that. Especially, they had to do this in a DLC, because they don't want their game banned in different regions, so on and so forth. But like I said, it's the continual cycle. First, let's look at this picture here. First, they take a beautiful character and then they make her uglier. This has been a constant pattern with existing female characters in video games, okay? We've seen the same with Lara Croft. Take a beautiful character and make her uglier, okay? Even with like reboot timeline and all that, we kept seeing them make her look more and more plain. The 2013 reboot, she actually was pretty, but she didn't quite give off this. But she was pretty, and then they continually dragged her down more and more, gave her a hideous haircut and all that. The thing that I find confusing with Horizon taking this path is that Aloy, because the excuse with Lara Croft is always, well, we want her to look normal. We don't want her to look like a caricature, blah, blah, blah. Well, Aloy looked pretty for like a real person. Like, she didn't look like an over-the-top idealization of a woman. She looked like a regular woman. She even had like little flaws, like her teeth, her bottom teeth were a little crooked. I remember seeing that when I first played Horizon Zero Dawn, and I was like, oh, that's neat. It gave her a little personality, right? They do little things to make her seem more human, but she still was beautiful. And here they've taken her and how this makes sense, just make it make sense to me, right? Okay. So they've made her face fatter while simultaneously making her body skinnier. I don't get it. So when you look at Horizon Zero Dawn, and one of the things I loved about Horizon Zero Dawn was that Aloy had abs, right? She had chiseled abs, and I would want to wear the outfits where you could see those abs. It was like goals. It was like, okay, I want abs like that. I need to hit the gym, so on and so forth. Like, that's how I felt when I played Horizon Zero Dawn. Well, now in Forbidden West, they took away her abs. They nerfed her abs. It's just, this is what she's working with now, which isn't ugly. But I mean, come on, why would you do that? Why would you take her abs away? But what makes no sense to me is, how do you make her body skinnier and make her face fatter? It doesn't make it make sense. Make her body skinnier and her face fatter. I don't know why. But yeah, that's just kind of the thing that they're doing with this thing. And the one reason why I feel like they do this is because they're scared. They're terrified of the male gaze, as they say. And so they don't want to make their female characters attractive because they're scared to death a guy will find her attractive. Apparently, that's a crime to them. And so especially when you're adding in a woman love interest, which, let's be real, if anything, this is because, I mean, how many lesbians are playing Horizon Forbidden West or any video games at all, for that matter? When you really factor in the demographics, they're such a small demographic, right? So so this definitely isn't for the lesbians. It's got, I don't know, they want the woke points. It's agenda driven, all that kind of stuff. But when you factor in, okay, they're going to have a lesbian story here. Initially, I mean, that's kind of a male fantasy to see girls kissing, but they want to see like hot girls kissing. Now this is outside of like the Christian realm. I'm a Christian. So obviously anybody who's a Christian, that sort of thing goes against that. But, in the secular world, this is a male fantasy type thing. So, because of that, they have to make Aloy uglier because you're already going to have two girls kissing and they don't want to appeal to the men. So, they had to make Aloy uglier and they had to make this girl look like a dude, pretty much. Let's be real. This cut off all the hair and just only look from here up. That looks like a man's face, or it's just, Yeah. So I don't know, dude. I don't know. This is the thing, is this is just getting so old. If people want to make new games and they want to put lesbians in it, go for it. Don't freaking care. Do your thing. But when you take a property that's already existed, that's already has a fan base, and especially the female lead who was beautiful, and let's be real, when it comes to female lead video game characters, and you look at some of the most iconic female lead video game characters of all time, who were beloved by men and women and people, everybody who played the games, is typically the female lead characters are beautiful. That's just how it is. It's part of the power fantasy, is you want to look at that beautiful character on screen, and if you're a woman, it's like, oh man, like she's totally inspirational to you. And then if you're a man, hey, you know, there's probably that attraction there that makes it, you know, more fun to play. Just like, I'm not gonna lie, Resident Evil has some attractive male characters that makes it, you know, just it makes things a little more fun to play the game when you're playing as an attractive character. It's just how it is, and that's okay. But yeah, but for this cycle to keep going like this with the female lead characters, I feel like, and for how much, you know, the gaming industry wants to act like they're so progressive and they're just like, you know, pioneers for women, all this kind of stuff, when if you look at the early 2000s, I feel like we had way better female characters, and we honestly had more lead female characters. I can't even remember the last time where it's just been like, okay, a new female character has entered the arena and has been awesome. I think is Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn. Off the top of my head, I'm not really coming up with anything else. So, I mean, we are thankfully JRPGs. Oh yeah, well, you know, like 2B with Nier Automata, all that kind of stuff. Thankfully, Japan keeps us, you know, fed in that department. But ultimately, as a whole, yeah, we are seeing less. We're seeing less good female leads because they just want to make them so boring and unthreatening. Non-threatening, and they all have to always be good. They can't ever have selfish motivations. They can't have flaws, this, that, or the other in terms of their personality, or they can't make mistakes or this or that. I don't know. I just feel like the gaming industry has dropped the ball with female leads lately, and this is another example of it. Taking an established character and, okay, let's throw this agenda for some woke points in there and now make her attracted to women, which, you know, but they're going to only do it in the safest way they possibly can in the DLC. So it's just like, this isn't bold, this isn't brave, this isn't stunning. This is just a cheap way to, you know, appeal to the message and all that stuff, and take that scared the crap out of me. I usually don't have my volume up for my notifications. All right, well, anyway, there you have it for this video. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I will catch you next time, and in the meantime, go boom.